integrating Stripe with Monday.com. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through a complex setup of how to connect Stripe with Monday.com. When a status changes inside of Monday.com, it's going to automatically generate a Stripe link for all of the products associated with that particular quote or item inside of Monday.com. And then whatever we do with that Stripe link, we can send it to the client. We can just have the sales representative send it to the client. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set it up. The purpose of this, business use case wise, is it means that the sales team don't need to go into Stripe in order to generate Stripe links. It can be done automatically. That obviously keeps them out of the Stripe system for obviously many good reasons. And it's convenient as well. Saves an enormous amount of time, even if you didn't have the risk of someone messing with your Stripe account, which is obviously a big risk. But also they don't have to go in, they don't have to create the Stripe, they don't connect the products to the thing and then like create the Stripe link and then copy it and blah, 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 blah. A lot of room for error, a lot of time involved, a lot of risk to you as a business owner as well. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set all of this up. So we're going to need Zapier. There's no two ways about this. Zapier is a requirement in this process. First and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the Zapier account. I've got a number of different folders for this particular client here, and I'm going to go ahead and press create in the top right-hand corner. So we need to create a new Zap. The first thing we want is a trigger. So our trigger is going to be Monday.com, and within this trigger, we can set whatever we want. So I've got their Monday.com account connected. The trigger event is when specific column value changes. And then in this particular instance, the specific column value that I'm referring to is actually going to be their DocuSign status. So they've got their DocuSign integrated as well, which raises and sends over the request for a signature. When the status of the DocuSign is equal to complete, then it's going to go ahead and trigger, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate the deal and all of the related information. Reason being is I need to go ahead and I need to trigger a test. So I'm going to go to, it's going to be on deals. Specific column value changes. It's going to be the DocuSign status. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to sent, just as an example, just so it actually sparks the trigger. And then I'm going to go ahead, press continue and press test trigger. So this obviously can be done for anything. If the quote accepted or something like that by the client, this will obviously work. But this here, as you can see, is my dummy information. This is pulling through now. So this is what we can go ahead and use. So you can see the status is sent. So status 1 is what our filter is going to be in the next step. So continue with selected record, and then I'm just going to apply a filter. Again, this is kind of standard stuff within Monday.com and with Zapier. Well, Zapier, I suppose. But when status, I think it's 1, wasn't it? Let me have a little look. Event status 1. The status 1 exactly matches. I think the option that we're looking for is complete. Yes, it is. Indeedy. Awesome. So complete. So this isn't going to fire, but that doesn't matter. This is just for testing purposes at the moment. So when status 1, which is DocuSign complete, exactly matches complete, then I want to automatically generate a Stripe link. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Okay. So we need to essentially create a product database within Zapier via tables. Confusing, right? This is specific to this client's requirements. There are a couple of ways we could go about doing this. We could manage this internally inside of Monday.com. I've gone back and forth on this. I think in order for this video to be of really good value, I think going through Zapier tables could be useful. So Zapier tables is essentially a means of managing data. What we essentially want to do is we want to find records and output them as line items. And we want to go ahead and press continue. Now, the likelihood is you don't have a Zapier table functionality set up, nor do I. So you and I are both in the same boat right now, and I'm going to walk you through how to set it up. So we need to go ahead and press create table. We can then go ahead and open in tables. And this is what our table is going to look like. Now, there's some additional information that I am going to need you to get, and let me walk you through that in a moment's time. But you can see here we've got some columns at the top. All I need for this particular thing to work is I need 2 columns. So I need price, so Stripe price. Actually, I might need 3. Add column to the right. What am I looking for? Add field. Yeah, I do. I need 3. You know what? Actually, it might be easier if I break up this Zap into 2. And I'm going to show you why. The thing is with this client is they have an initial setup fee and they have a recurring fee. Now, I think I want to reference using 2 different tables just to keep this as clean as possible. So I'm going to call this the initial setup fee pricing matrix. Honestly, this sounds complicated. It's not. It's not. So it's the strike price. And then what I need is the strike price ID. So you can find that within Stripe. It's a Stripe price ID. The client's been kind enough to send this over, so I'm going to go ahead and populate that information now. So essentially what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just setting up a pricing table. So this is the Stripe price on the left-hand side. So it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And then within each price, there's an associated Stripe price ID, and that can be found within a product. So within a product inside of a Stripe, you can create multiple prices. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So same product, different price ID per product. So that's what I'm working through and setting up. I appreciate this does take some time. It's a little bit boring. There we go. Awesome. So this is now done. So I've got all of my different Stripe pricing options here, and then I've got the Stripe ID associated with it. Fantastic. So now what we want to happen is within this deal, obviously we've got a initial setup fee of 3,000. So we need to find records. So the lookup column is going to be, so if I just hit refresh on this, because obviously now we've gone ahead and set up our table. Table's got a name. I'm hoping this is all going to like work itself out. No, refresh results. Table initial setup fee pricing matrix. That's what we've just gone ahead and created. And then our lookup column is going to be, again, Zapier a little bit slow this morning, a bit like me to be fair. And then is exactly, contains case sensitive, is one of, is empty, starts with, is exactly, and then the lookup value for this particular instance is going to go ahead and be our initial setup fee of $3,000. Okay, so I'm just going to look for that. I might just search for it at the top here. 3,000, so our number's 3,000. Fantastic. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is then test the step. So now it's going to hopefully give me an output of the value and then also the price ID. So now we're one step closer to creating our Stripe ID. Now I'm going to rename this. So it's find initial fee. Okay. We then need to go ahead and do exactly the same thing using tables. And in this particular instance, I'm going to create a table for our recurring fee as well. So again, two different products associated with the Stripe link. You can see that the recurring fee is slightly different. Obviously, the price ID is going to be different. The way it's set up in Stripe is very different as well. So action event is going to be find record or find records by line items. It doesn't really matter given that there's only one. And then go ahead and press continue. And then the table ID obviously doesn't exist. So I'm going to create a new table in this instance. Let me open this table, and it's going to be initial setup fee pricing. It's going to be recurring fee pricing matrix is the name that I'm going to give it. So recurring fee pricing matrix. And then I'm just going to go ahead and change the name of the columns. So of course this one is, I want it to match. So Stripe fee. Did I put fee or price? Probably price, yes. Sorry, I just want it to look the same, you know, I just want it to look nice. And then I've got Stripe price ID. So I'm going to add a new field. It's going to be the text one. It's going to be Stripe price ID. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit create. And I can delete this one here. I don't need this anymore. So I can delete this. Awesome. So now I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste what the client has sent over. So obviously the different pricing options. So I've got 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. So then with each of these is obviously an associated Stripe ID. So I just need to copy and paste that information over as well now. Again, this is going to take a moment. So now I've gone ahead and also set up our pricing matrix for the recurring fee, and then I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to use the drop down menu, just refresh the results, so we should have the new one, recurring fee pricing matrix, and then the lookup field in this particular instance, again refresh the results, is going to be the Stripe price, and then the value exactly should match on here. I think I put 4,000 for the recurring fee, so you've got number 01, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, you can see there that the recurring fee is 4,000. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, press test step. This should then pull back the information, the price ID. So now I can go ahead and I can reformat this information to create line items. We may not necessarily need to do it, but I would prefer to do it just for best practice purposes. So what we then go ahead and do is we're going to use reformatter, or formatting, sorry. Half asleep here, formatter by Zapier, and then I'm going to use action event, and what I want is utilities. Go ahead and hit continue, and I'm going to transform this into information to line item to text. No, I want text to line item. I'm going to go ahead and hit input. So my input values are going to be the recurring fee, which was the Stripe price ID there, and also this one here, and you separate by using a comma. And then it's going to be this one here as well. So Stripe price ID. Now, let me just rename this just so everything aligns. So this is Find Records recurring fee. Now you may be wondering, why do we even need these pricing matrix or the price IDs? They're really important. You can't really do much with Stripe without them, not well anyway. So now we've got our price IDs, we put them as a format. I don't know why that comma has gone there. Zapier is having this issue at the moment, this very recent problem where it doesn't track where you're actually writing, which is a bit annoying. But if I go ahead and put my input, I'm just going to test the steps. So this now should create 2 line items, as you can see here. And then what we need to do is just search for Stripe, so Stripe option, and then we want to choose the action event. So now we need to create a payment link, create payment link. Awesome. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. So with price here, what we need to do is hit 3 dotted button on the right hand side, go to custom, go to utilities, and then we need to enter in our output. Okay. Quantity is going to be 1 for each of these. Then you can define what you want here. So collect tax automatically. I'm going to say false, or maybe you could put as true. Collect customer's address. In this instance, I would probably want this as collect billing address only. Require customers to provide a phone number, true. Confirmation page, not worried about. Payment methods for this particular client, they want card, and they also want ACH as well, ACH direct debit. There we go. So those options are now created. All we need to do now, this is crazy, right, is we just hit test. That's it. If this has worked, why hasn't this worked? So, ladies and gentlemen, apologies. I have run into a small issue. So when I was recommending, when you set up the configuration, I did say on the setup, it would be find record. I actually initially said find records, output as line items. Do not do this. Whatever you do, do not do this. If you want to completely waste your time, don't do this. You just need to select find record for each of these. So find record for initial and find record for recurring. Then you use the utilities functionality. So formatted by Zapier's utilities, text to line item, then go to test, and then your output needs to be 1 and 2, not 1 and then within 1, 1 and 2. And then we go to continue, and then obviously we're on the Stripe payment link. So pricing, 3 dotted button on the right hand side, go to custom, go to utility, select your output. So all you need to do is go to output, continue, test step. So all we want to do is retest this step. So with both of those prices, it's now created a payment link for Stripe. Awesome. So now if I copy and paste this in, the Stripe fee associated, the quick start, the monthly cost, and literally everything else, it is so clever. They can pay by bank or card, whatever set up for them, whatever works best for them. Awesome. So that's working. And now all I want to do is I want to push this Stripe link back into the Monday.com system. So I'm going to add a step. It's going to be Monday.com, and I want to change multiple column values. So change multiple column values, and then hit continue. And then obviously the board is going to be deals. The item ID is going to be the item ID that we had at the start, which is the item ID there. And then what I'm looking for is the Stripe status. So I can say, or I'm going to change that, but hopefully you get the idea. I actually don't think we have a Stripe link on the column board on the board already. So what I'm looking for is, Stripe ID or Stripe link. So I don't actually seem to have that at the moment. So what I'm going to do is add column to the right, text. I'm just going to call this Stripe link. And then I'm going to go back on here, and then I'm just going to hit refresh. So I've got that column or text column available to me. There you go. So the Stripe link is now populated. And then all I want to do is I want to push the payment link over to the Monday.com system. So then the sales rep can send it off, or we can automate emails to send it as well. So the URL is now available. All I'm going to do is hit continue. I'm going to test this step. What will then happen is the Stripe link is going to write over to Monday.com. As you can see there, automatically populated, job done. And that is our Zap setup. And then obviously what we can do from there is either we can automate it, so the client receives that link via email when the column changes, for example. We can do that inside of Monday.com. Alternatively, what we can do is notify the sales representative to send the link, and then they can do whatever they need to do with it. If you need help automating, integrating, streamlining, or setting up your business, check out the link below. We'd be delighted to help, whether that be Zapier, Monday.com, or you name it. We'll take care of it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.